Before you protect your house, your body must be protected first. People rush to rituals, chants, and objects, yet forget the most ancient shield lives in what they consume. There is one food known to monks and warriors that does not fight darkness. It starves it for 24 hours. It seals your energy, quiets spiritual attacks, and restores authority over your life. If you eat this food with awareness, nothing sent against you can stay. Listen carefully, because this is not superstition. This is discipline. You must understand this. Curses, negative energy, spiritual attacks, they rarely hit the mind first. They are not abstract forces floating around waiting to strike your thoughts. No, they are much smarter than that. They look for weakness. And the body is always the first gate. Every time your body is heavy, sluggish, or imbalanced, it sends a signal to the unseen world. I am vulnerable. I am ready. And just like that, the door is open. Think about it. How many people protect their homes with salt, charms, rituals, or incense, yet their lives still feel chaotic, drained, and constantly under attack? That's because protection begins inside, not outside. Your body is the first battlefield. If the body is weak, everything else, rituals, prayers, even the strongest words struggles to hold. Negative forces find a way in through the tiniest cracks: fatigue, poor digestion, low immunity, or even unresolved tension. The physical state becomes a map of vulnerability. When the body is inflamed, when it carries toxins, when it is overstimulated by sugar, processed food, or chaos, it is no longer just a body. It becomes a beacon. It broadcasts weakness. And when that happens, energy that should be yours, the calm, the clarity, the inner authority leaks out. You feel drained, anxious, even attacked. But most people don't realize this is the body signaling first. The spirit only follows. It's like a lock and key. If the lock is rusted or broken, the key slides right in without resistance. The connection between the body and curses is not mystical. It is practical. Darkness always seeks imbalance, disorder, and disorder manifests first in the physical form. If you're tense, angry, or constantly running on stress, your energy field becomes chaotic. That chaos is the invitation. Your body is not only the vessel, it is the gateway, the entry point. And here's where most people go wrong. They think a curse is something external, something that happens to them. But it always begins internally. Every time you allow your body to become toxic, unsettled, or weak, you are handing over permission. You are telling the universe, without saying a word, that you are available for interference. No spell, no ritual, no chant is necessary when the body itself has surrendered its defenses. This is why food, daily habits, and bodily discipline matter more than any magic spell. The energy that curses and negative forces rely on is subtle, but it follows the natural patterns of the body. When the body is in turmoil digestively, chemically, emotionally, it creates channels for these forces. When the body is stable, strong, and disciplined, there are no cracks. The unseen world respects strength. It moves around it. It cannot penetrate a sealed, grounded vessel. So before you rush to find protective charms, before you buy incense, before you spend hours in rituals hoping to shield yourself, look at your body. Look at what you are feeding it, how you are moving it, how you are treating it. Because is the first battlefield. Win here, and you already hold the advantage. Ignore it, and nothing else you do matters. Your body is your first line of defense. And if you don't respect that, the universe will remind you in ways you cannot ignore. There is one food that does not simply nourish the body. It protects it in ways most people have forgotten. This is not about superstition or folklore. It is about energy, clarity, and the alignment of your entire system. When consumed correctly, this food creates a natural barrier around your energy. A shield that lasts for 24 hours. It is not just about what it does in your stomach. It is what it does to your energy, your aura, your presence in the world. The reason it works is simple. Curses, negative energy, and spiritual attacks look for weakness. They are drawn to imbalance, chaos, and confusion. And they seek a host that is easy to influence. But when this food is in your system, your body stabilizes, your blood is purified, your energy calms, and your mind becomes sharp. It is almost as if the body sends a signal to the universe: I am not available, I am sealed. And just like that, forces that would normally latch onto fear or fatigue cannot enter. This food works on multiple levels at once. Physically, it strengthens the organs, flushes toxins, and balances the gut, the center of energy and immunity. Emotionally, it reduces agitation, anxiety, and reactive tendencies, which are exactly the openings negative forces exploit. Energetically, it creates a kind of stillness that cannot be penetrated. Darkness cannot anchor where there is stability. It cannot linger where there is quiet power. Most people underestimate the power of the body's internal environment. They think protection comes from outside, from rituals, from incense, from symbols. But the real power comes from within. This food is a tool, a key, a weapon against unseen threats precisely because it works internally. It doesn't need spells or chance. Its effect is scientific and energetic at the same time. Once it is consumed with intention, the body becomes impervious. And for the next 24 hours, nothing can disturb the natural flow of your energy. Timing is important. Eating this food at the right time ensures it is absorbed correctly, allowing the body to fully integrate its protective properties. Consuming it without awareness or care reduces its effect. This is not magic, it is principle. The body responds or attention to intention, to respect. When you honor the process, when you consume with mindfulness, the shield becomes real. It is subtle but undeniable. Those who have used it consistently, monks, warriors, spiritual practitioners, understand its power. They know that a single meal can create a window of invulnerability. They know that what you eat determines how much you are open to external influences. They know that the strongest protection is not outward, it is inward. And that is why this food is revered. It is not just about eating. It is about anchoring your energy, reinforcing the body, and establishing dominance over your own field. When you take it into your system, you are telling the world without a single word that your energy belongs to you, that nothing external can control it, that for the next 24 hours you are untouchable. Every time you ignore what you eat, you invite vulnerability. Every time you consume this food with intention, you reclaim your authority. It is simple, it is powerful, and it is something anyone can do, provided they understand its significance. This food does not fight the darkness. It starves it, it blocks it, and it makes your body a place it cannot enter. Once this food is in your system, something remarkable happens. It is not just about your body being protected. It is about the silence it creates within you. Negative forces, cures, and spiritual interference rely on noise, internal agitation, fear, confusion, emotional turbulence. They feed on chaos, and they anchor themselves to every small crack in your attention, every spike of anxiety, every moment of inner panic. But when you consume this food, it does more than nourish. It calms the system, and a calm system cannot be invaded. Think of it like this. If your mind is a storm, no matter how small the seed of darkness, it can take root and grow. But when your internal environment is still stable and grounded, there is no turbulence for it to latch onto. The body, the mind, and the energy field become one seamless shield. Darkness is forced to move on because there is no point of entry. Your presence alone becomes a deterrent. It works subtly, but its effects are undeniable. You may notice that after consuming it, sudden fear or tension that usually grips you dissipates more quickly. You may feel a lightness in your chest, a steadiness in your stomach, a quiet in your thoughts that you cannot explain. This is the body and energy field realigning. It is creating an internal sanctuary that negative energy simply cannot breach. The difference is profound, though often invisible to the untrained eye. This is why intention is crucial. You cannot simply eat it as you would any meal. It must be received with awareness, with the thought that you are not just feeding your body, but guarding your energy, anchoring your presence, and claiming your field. The moment you treat it casually, the energy shift is muted, and the shield is weaker. But with focus, the stillness spreads through your entire system, from your gut to your heart to your head, until you are unshakable. The silence it produces is not emptiness. It is strength. When the body and mind are silent, negative forces cannot whisper their influence. They cannot pull at your thoughts, make you anxious, or cloud your clarity. They thrive on reaction. And when reaction disappears, they become powerless. even if someone intends harm or if there is lingering negativity in your environment. This quiet power within you is enough to neutralize it. The food works like a conductor, harmonizing your internal energies so that interference finds no resonance. People spend years chasing protection through external means, charms, rituals, objects. But all of these are secondary. They are mere amplifiers. If your internal state is solid, but they are useless if the body and mind are turbulent. The real work happens in the silence created inside. And this food is a key to that silence. It is a bridge between nourishment and spiritual armor, between the physical and the unseen. You will find that after consuming it consistently, even for a single day, your awareness sharpens. You notice the subtle attacks that used to distract you. You feel anchored in your choices, in your presence, in your life. You no longer react impulsively to small triggers, because the energy field around you has been stabilized. The forces that once rode on your anxiety or fear have no pathway anymore. This is why it is so powerful. It does not fight the darkness by opposing it. It removes the invitation entirely. It silences the internal chatter that allows negativity to grow. And in doing so, it gives you clarity, control, and quiet strength. It is protection that is both simple and profound, and it works in harmony with your body, your mind, and your energy. Once the body is quiet, once the mind is still, you realize something vital. You were always stronger than the forces trying to touch you. You just needed to give your system the environment it could thrive in. Now, knowing that this food has the power to protect your body and energy for 24 hours is one thing, but understanding how to consume it correctly is where the real difference is made. Most people eat without thought, without intention, simply because it is there. And when it comes to protection, that casual approach will never work. The food itself is a tool, yes, but like any tool, it only becomes powerful when you handle it correctly with awareness, timing, and discipline. The first principle is timing. This is not about eating at random hours of the day. Your body follows natural cycles of energy, and there are moments when it is most receptive to nourishment and most capable of integrating protective properties. If you eat it at the wrong time, the effects are dulled. The shield becomes weak, and you remain vulnerable. But when you eat it at the right time, the body absorbs it fully. Your energy field responds, and you create a seamless barrier that lasts through the next 24 hours. The second principle is intention. Eating this food is not just a mechanical act of consuming calories. Every bite should carry awareness. You must think of it as sealing your body, strengthening your energy, and telling the universe that you are claiming protection. The mind and body work together. And when your intention aligns with your action, the shield becomes tangible. Without intention, it is just food. And while it may nourish the body physically, it will not protect your energy. Discipline is the third principle. It is easy to say, I will eat this food for protection, but it is much harder to actually do it consistently, to respect the timing, and to consume it with care. Discipline is what turns a simple act into a powerful practice. It shows that your body and energy are worthy of protection. It communicates to the unseen world that you are serious about maintaining boundaries, about keeping your field untouchable. The way you consume it also matters. Choose slowly. Breathe consciously and focus on the sensation of the food entering your body. Imagine it moving through your system, fortifying every organ, every cell, every fiber of energy. Visualize it forming a protective barrier around you. It may feel subtle at first, almost invisible, but the effects accumulate. The body begins to internalize the strength, and the energy field responds naturally. Some people try to shortcut this process. They eat it quickly, without thought, thinking the power is automatic. It is not. The shield is active only when the body, mind, and energy align. Eat it with discipline and awareness, and it becomes more than protection. It becomes a ritual, a daily act of reclaiming your authority over your body and your life. It is also important to respect the quantity. Too little and the body does not receive enough to create the seal. Too much and the energy may become stagnant or unbalanced. The right measure, taken with respect, becomes perfect armor. It is a delicate balance, but one that anyone can learn with attention and practice by following these principles. Timing, intention, and discipline. You turn something simple into something profound. The shield is no longer abstract. It is active, tangible, and reliable. For the next 24 hours, you move through the world untouchable, impervious, and centered. You no longer need to fear sudden energy shifts, chaos, or attack, because you have created the conditions for silence and stability. And negative forces cannot penetrate a body and mind aligned in this way. The lesson is clear. Protection is not external. It is not something you buy, chant, or perform in rituals alone. Protection begins with how you care for your body, how you feed it, and how you honor it. Eat this food with awareness at the right time and with the sip. Line and your body becomes a fortress. Those who lived under constant pressure, monks in monasteries, warriors on the battlefield, ascetics in isolation, understood something most people today overlook. They understood that the unseen world is always present, and that protection is not something you seek after the fact. It is something you maintain proactively. They didn't rely on charms, amulets, or elaborate rituals alone. They relied on their bodies, and they knew that what they consumed directly influenced their resilience against unseen forces. Among all the tools they had, there was one constant: the food that created a shield. Monks, for example, spent hours in meditation, in silence, and in disciplined living. But they also knew that internal stillness alone was not enough if the body was weak. A body that is restless, heavy, or ill is an open channel, no matter how strong the mind is. So they incorporated specific foods into their routines. Foods that were not merely sustenance but armor. When they consumed these foods, their minds were clearer, their meditations deeper, and their energy fields stable. Nothing could penetrate their calm because the body itself was fortified. Warriors understood the principle just as well. On the battlefield, danger was constant, but they also understood that vulnerability often comes not from external threats alone, but from internal weakness. They trained their bodies, disciplined their minds, and consumed foods that maintained the air strength and focus. A single meal could mean the difference between being drained and being untouchable. Those who honored their bod, why with the right nourishment moved through danger as if it could not touch them. They did not need to think about curses or energy attacks. They were protected because their system was aligned, sealed, and disciplined. Aesthetics, those who withdrew from society entirely, faced another kind of challenge: spiritual intrusion and temptation. In isolation, the mind becomes sensitive and the energy field becomes exposed. Yet even in seclusion, they did not rely on spells alone. They relied on their bodies as the first defense. They consumed carefully chosen foods that maintained clarity, calm, and resilience. Every meal was a practice, a ritual, a declaration that their energy belonged to them and could not be taken lightly. What connects all these examples is the understanding that protection begins within. The body is the foundation. The mind and spirit follow. This is why they never underestimated the power of food. They did not eat casually or without awareness. Every bite was intentional, every meal deliberate, because they knew that the unseen forces respect strength and discipline, and they avoid bodies that are balanced, nourished, and aware. It is also why we must reconsider how we approach protection today. Many spend hours seeking spells, prayers, or external tools, yet neglect the simplest and most effective shield that has been used for centuries: the body itself. If a monk, a warrior, or an ascetic understood the significance of what they ate in guarding their energy, then surely we, with all the knowledge and awareness at our disposal, can do the same. Is the wisdom we have inherited but often ignore. Protection is not a decoration. It is not an object to be displayed. It is a practice, a habit, and a discipline. It is eating with awareness, timing, and intention. It is understanding that the body is the first battleground, and that the food we consume is the armor we wear. Those who mastered it lived untouchable, moving through the world with calm, authority, clarity, and energy that could not be stolen or disturbed. And this is why the food works. It is not mystical or magical. It is practical. It aligns the body, fortifies the mind, and shields the spirit. The monks, warriors, and ascetics understood what few people do today. The strongest protection is simple, consistent, and maintained from within. Everything we've discussed so far, the food, the timing, the intention, the discipline is only effective as long as it is maintained. Once you remove it from your life, even for a day, the shield begins to fade. The body is no longer fortified. The energy field becomes porous again, and sensitivity returns. The lesson here is crucial. Protection is not a one-time act. It is a practice, a daily commitment, and a reflection of how seriously you take your own energy. When the shield fades, it is not always obvious immediately. You may feel just slightly off, more tired than usual, or notice small irritations affecting you more strongly. But Hesi are the openings that negative forces look for. They do not strike all at once. They move in gradually, testing your defenses, probing your vulnerabilities. And every time, the body and mind are unguarded. Every time you ignore what nourishes you, you are giving permission for interference to return. This is why consistency matters more than anything else. It is not enough to rely on rituals, objects, or occasional practices. Real protection is about habit, about daily attention, and about understanding the rhythm of your body and energy. When you eat this food consistently at the right time with awareness and discipline, you create a continuous line of defense. When you stop even for a moment, that line is broken. You may not feel the consequences immediately, but the system always remembers. It remembers what it means to be unprotected, and the energy that used to respect your field begins to probe again. It is also a reflection of a larger truth. The world will always test you, the unseen and the seen alike. Nothing external changes until the internal is consistent. You can have the strongest intentions, the best rituals, and the most powerful objects. But if the body's weak, if the energy is inconsistent, protection becomes temporary, fragile, and unreliable. The food is a reminder that strength is cumulative, that consistency is a form of vigilance, and that what you consume directly influences the state of your energy and your presence in the world. There is also a lesson in accountability. When you remove this food from your life, when you ignore the principles we've discussed, it is not the universe punishing you. It is your own body and energy system responding to neglect. Protection is not given. It is earned. It is cultivated through attention, intention, and care. And the moment you stop cultivating it, the vulnerability that was always there reappears. You are not weak because someone cursed you. You are weak because you allowed the body and the energy field to become unguarded. This is why the practice must be daily, deliberate, and mindful. It is not about fear. It is about discipline. It is about reclaiming authority over yourself, over your energy, and over the space you inhabit. The food is not just sustenance. It is armor, a tool, a method of reinforcing your boundaries, and a way of saying to the world, I am not available. I am sealed. I am grounded. And when you stop using it, when you stop respecting it, those boundaries weaken, and the field that was once impervious becomes accessible again. The deeper lesson is this: protection, clarity, and strength are habits, not magic. They are cultivated through attention, repetition, and respect for your body and energy. Every time you maintain the shield, you reinforce your power. Every time you neglect it, you allow openings. The unseen world mirrors what you cultivate internally. The shield is as strong as your commitment to it, and nothing external will compensate for a lack of consistency. So remember, it is not just about consuming this food once or sporadically or casually. It is about making it a part of your daily discipline, your daily ritual, and your daily claim to your own energy. Protection is not something you acquire. It is something you maintain moment by moment, day by day. Neglect it and vulnerability returns. Respect it and your energy becomes untouchable.